Human Services meeting to order. If you can all rise, I'd like to pledge allegiance to the flag.
United States and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, I think we are all on board tonight with legislators Lane Daly, Amy Sorry, Shay, Tom Winslow. Thank you for your attendance. First order of business is approval of minutes from our September 10th meeting.
I'll move the minute from September 10th.
A second.
Any discussion, any questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are carried. We have no appointments to look at. So we will go right into department reports. I'm going to skip around a little bit. Deborah, Dennis has a son's ball game that she would like to get to in just a few minutes. So come on up.
Thanks for your flexibility. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Do you want to do my resolution first?
Yeah, let's take a look at your res, which is the last one, 12. This authorizes the county legislature and the director of the youth bureau to amend the scope of work and executed agreement with Cayuga Counseling Services. As you go through this, it's about a scope of work change. And the Youth Advisory Committee did look at the scope of work change and found that it still fell within the correct parameters. And was something they were willing, a change they were willing to engage in. It allows them to use on-site at 17 Genesee Street and off-site locations for safe space and youth relationship and peer building in the community, with 26 activities offered, probably serving 100 unduplicated children. And they serve children throughout the county. Transportation will be provided. It was quite a robust list, as I remember, a robust list of things that they were going to do with these kids. So any other explanation there?
No, this is through ARPA, so
Yes.
we did award them ARPA funding for $15,000. They have until December of 26 to voice for that money. Initially, the contract does read for emulating like a Big Brothers Big Sister program, but that's not something they felt like they would reasonably be able to sustain. So they wanted to change their scope rather than start something and not be able to maintain it throughout the county. So that's what this is. Just they already have a contract. It will just be working on to change the contract so they can this payout.
I have a motion to put HH12 on the table.
I'll move it for discussion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any discussion, questions?
Yep. I'm sorry, I'm just getting to. I had thought you had already committed all of your ARPA funds and you have. But this is just a change in what they're going to be doing?
Yep, and so when I spoke with Lynn and Fred about it, it was allowable because Lynn has the ARPA funding earmarked as youth services. It
Yep.
wasn't specific to a specific entity. So she said to talk with law to see what they wanted to do. So I've been working with Fred on.
But this money was originally allocated or earmarked for something different?
It was earmarked for Cayuga Counseling to do like a Big Brothers Big Sisters type of a program at their facility.
Okay, so they wanted to change the scope of their award.
Mhm.
And this really just cleans up the fact that they're still getting the money, but they're doing something different.
Correct.
Okay.
And there is a piece of sustainability built into this program because they have started to do this safe haven, safe place kind of work. So this does help them continue the work and strengthen it. And that's one of the things we wanted to do with the Youth Bureau funding was get organizations off the ground and choose those who seem to have a good sustainability plan.
And there's still other ARPA awards that have been awarded that are being spent down through the end of 26, is that?
Correct. Seymour Public Library, who they've almost invoiced us for all of it, and
Okay.
then the Growing Hope Program out of Southern Cayuga.
So there's not a ton of unspent ARPA funds left.
No, it was just those three programs, and one of them, Seymour Library, which
Okay.
is about all built out, so it would just be the two left.
And at the end, all of your 250 would be spent.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none. All in favor of HH 12?
Aye.
Any opposed? HH 12 carries. Anything else on a report for us, Deb?
Just a couple of things, just to highlight, I think you can see on my report that the Youth Bureau did meet, our Youth Advisory Board met, and we had a lot of really great applications this year. It was hard, it was definitely hard for everybody to go through and kind of sort out the best ones to award. We had $322,000 worth of asks, and we had $160,000-ish to award. So I'd say out of the 27 applications that we received, we were able to fund 20 of them. And I like to just point out 10 of those are brand new to the Youth Bureau, which was really nice to see. And a lot of them are continuing to be some rural programs that are new to us as well. So I think our plan of trying to reach out to some of the rural communities is definitely working. So I was happy to see that. A couple other quick things. Student Government Day is going well for the planning for that. I have all 7 schools this year committed to participate. So since I've been here, that's the first time I've had all 7. So that's exciting. Yesterday it was brought to my attention that Cayuga County was able to accept actually funding today for New York 250, which is a $15,000 grant that is going to be given to Cayuga County for the New York State 250th commemoration missions plan, which is to celebrate the American Revolution. We're doing that in summer of 26. So a lot of the details are just coming out with that. I know that the county, there will be a resolution this month for whether it comes to Ways and Means or the full ledge, I'm not sure yet, for us to be able to accept that money and to work with entities to do that promotion within Cayuga County for specifically most likely like 4th of July and 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. It's what it sounds to me. Fred, correct me.
No, that's excellent. That's
Okay.
correct.
And that was the missing letter that needed to be
Yes,
addressed by October 15th that tourism brought forward.
right. It arrived.
Okay, in someone's
effectively in
mail.
a desk, and it's
Okay.
signed, and Youth Bureau and Deb have agreed to act as a liaison out to the community. Resolution will be coming either to Ways next week or the full ledge.
Who is your speaker?
I'm still working on it. Heidi had given me a great, another great lead, and she will be leaving for Italy the day before.
Oh, that's
So,
true.
she gave me a couple of other ideas. I might reach out to you for that. So right now I'm still working on a speaker. So if you have any suggestions, let me know.
Keep us in suspense.
I don't know. I will definitely. Brian said he wanted to do it, Sheriff. I asked him. Just kidding.
I've done that before.
No, that's why I was just kidding about it. If you, that's.
Don't
all I
laugh, it
have.
could be you.
I understand department heads used to do it, but maybe not so willingly. So I won't ask anybody.
There's others in the room.
Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Enjoy the late afternoon at your son's game.
Thank you.
I will follow the agenda from here on out. Deanna is here to report for the health department. Let's take a look at your resolutions.
Do you mind if I sit at the table?
No, yep, you absolutely can. So we have 2 health department resolutions. Let's take a look at those, HH1 and HH.
Okay. HH1 is a resolution allowing us to contract with Canine Cove Kennel. This is an opportunity for us to expand outside of the current contract that we have with our one vendor who is eventually potentially going to be retiring. So this is providing a department with another option for picking up and transporting animals, and then the daily boarding that's required.
So this starts immediately?
Yes, if needed, and we'll use them on an as-needed basis.
And this is something we've been looking for a while. This, both of these, H1 and H2. I remember Kathleen had discussions with us about how long we had been
Yes.
waiting to get these services. So I was happy to see that.
Yes, there's potential for a few more to be coming through. We're just waiting to hear back from some local vets. We have contacted about 13. We heard back from 3, 2 weren't interested, but 1 is. So hopefully we'll get some more feedback. Another option.
I'll move this for further discussion. I'll move
Thank you.
H1.
I'll say.
Deanna, are the daily boarding has to come in when you have an animal that needs to be quarantined? Is that why they'd have to board the
And
animal?
it's unable to be done within the home
Okay, or you're not sure that it would be done within the home?
successfully, yes,
Okay, so the 10-day quarantine is why they would potentially board an animal?
correct.
Okay.
Any other questions, discussions? Hearing none, all in favor of HH1?
Aye.
Any opposed? HH1 carries. Thank you. HH2 involves the same issue, rabies.
Yeah.
Solutions and control.
So this is specifically for Chicarelli Wildlife Solutions, and this is more related to specimen preparation and euthanasia of particular wildlife animals.
Can I have a motion to put HH2 on the floor?
Move it.
A second.
Because of rabies, is that the reason that you would?
Yes.
This is all rabies.
This is all,
Says.
yes, this is all rabies. So this is another option for us in case we need it. And they will not do domestic animals. So they will do like the raccoons, skunks, foxes, deer. So they'll do the specimen preparation for us to ship it to the lab, but also the euthanasia if needed. And then obviously, I think they will pick up the animal if necessary.
Domestic, the other agency?
Yes.
Okay.
The other agency we currently have a contract with.
Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of HH2?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Anything to report for us?
I didn't prepare anything. I'm just working currently to get up to speed on some things that Kathleen had left kind of in progress before she is unexpectedly on leave. So I'm working on some of that. I'll have a better update for you in November. I'll come a little bit more prepared to give you updates on what we've been working on, but staff are busy. We completed our walk to school days most recently. So we had great participation from local schools. I'll have final numbers for you next meeting.
Kathleen due back at an expected time or?
I think she's due back, hopefully by December, at some point in December, but it may be longer.
In terms of the walk to school, is it springtime when you do the bike to school?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
but
that's grant funded?
it is, yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's through our injury prevention grant.
Oh, okay.
How's your survey coming?
Oh,
Yeah.
whatever happened after the press release, we got a big jump in numbers. So we're over almost at 800 surveys. So
That's great.
I guess specifically the Brutus area. I know you were,
Areas that you were hoping?
I haven't actually analyzed that data, but I did see a jump quickly in the numbers from Friday until Tuesday. Yeah.
your email, I sent it, and actually the Village of Eastport put it on a blast text to the residents, so.
Yeah, good. We're hoping to get a
uh,
Thank you.
diverse representation from local communities. So
They cracked it with
So Tom, you didn't do 100 of them yourself and disguise your.
yeah, so we're going to close that out on the 20th. Yeah, but thank you for your support on that.
Thank you. Oh. Let's see. We always sort of jump around here because I follow the report style on the full agenda, but the revised or the annotated agenda has you a little lower down. However, you have 4 resolutions. Let's take a look at those first.
Okay.
So
So,
HH8.
yep, the first one is, so this, because we switched our electronic medical record, this is what we have to pay in order to continue to get all of our data from our previous EMR So all of our charts are stored on the previous EMR that we still need access to the records. So that's what this resolution is for, to pay that. It's a monthly rate that we pay in order to keep access to that.
HH 8 on the table.
I'll move it.
Second.
You have to pay $53 a month so you can have access to your old records. They're yours.
Yeah, because it's for storage,
Oh, okay.
storage fee for them.
It's the storage fee
Yeah.
of the old.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
And you need obviously the histories.
Yeah, I mean, we have some clients' records are a decade long,
Yeah.
so we want to have access to those.
And you're, for the most part, it's important for you to be able to retrieve billing information. So
Yeah, I mean,
you
I
can
think, no, I
capture-
think the biggest thing is being able to the history and all of the data from every visit that they've ever been to our office.
Their clinical information.
Yep.
The Office of Mental Health requires it to a certain extent, right?
Yes, there's a whole,
So it's not really even optional.
yes. It's usually 10 years, but then if you're a child, it's 10 years after you turn 18, and then there's a whole, it's
Yep.
very difficult to keep track of. But they are all electronic on there, even though there's still paper charts in the basement.
Yeah,
And you didn't need this before you switched
Right.
the software.
Right, it's because we're using a new one that we still need access to the old information.
makes sense. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor of HH 8?
Aye.
Any opposed? HH 8 is carried. HH 9.
So HH 9 and 10 are
Yes.
very similar.
Let's look at
HH
those together. Can I have a motion to bundle HH 9 and 10?
Move that.
Second.
Thank you.
So this is the regional abatement dollars that is opioid settlement funds that flow through the state and then to the LGU that flows through Oasis. So this is the amount of money that we're getting for this year. And then HH 10 would be, this is pass-through money that goes to the city of Auburn for opioid settlement funds.
It's always nice to hear that surprise money comes along. So
Yeah, I mean,
these
we're
are essentially
Yeah, I mean,
budget adjustments and then
we accept this, this is a new allocation every year of opioid settlement funds that we get through the state because it's new settlements continue to be settled and to come in. So it's hard to kind of plan for the amount of money you're gonna get on a yearly basis. Because it has been a little bit over what we've anticipated based on the formula that they gave us to figure it out. But then we always get the city of Auburn's that we pass through to them as well, because they're considered like, another,
A portion of the 158 goes to Auburn?
no,
No.
158 comes to us
Yep,
and the 28 goes to the city of Auburn.
of that. Oh, of the next resolution. So
Yep, they're separated out.
accepting them in expense and revenue because you didn't know what to budget for when you guessed your budget.
Correct.
Okay.
any other questions, discussion on the bundle of HH 9 and 10? Hearing none, all in favor? HH 9 and 10? Any opposed? Those two carry as well. And one more for you, Lauren, HH 11.
So I don't know if you recall, but I think I had done a resolution in the past to accept the funds for the court-based health, mental health navigators.
Yes.
We did an RFP at that time. We didn't get any responses, but with further conversation, with Cayuga Counseling, they do a lot of the reentry work. And it just, I think to the executive director, it really made sense for them to take this on after we met a few different times talking about it. And it's really around working with people who have mental health, diagnoses that are also involved in the criminal justice system and how we can better connect them to services and help them, get the referrals and resources that they need. So they've agreed to that. So this would be to contract with them.
When their case gets heard, this advocate or whatever shows up or they get.
Yeah, this person could be present during the court proceedings, like some of the, monitoring court, behavioral health court, any of those, I think is a perfect place for them to be sort of present and then be able to work with the individuals that may need it, that come out of those types of courts. It's very vague. It can be used in a lot of creative ways. So really working with them around some different ideas I have around maybe some of the 730 work, how we can better educate, judges on what that means and maybe cut down on some of those orders that might not be necessary. But I think there's a lot of creative work to do in the court system with this position. So I'm glad that they reached out because we would have nobody to respond to that. This is kind of one of those things that the Office of Mental Health kind of said, we're doing this and we're going to give each county 1 or 2 navigators. This is sort of a priority for us. And we're giving you the state aid funding to do it. So it was a matter of seeing who wanted to do that in the community.
And we are, as you said, fortunate that Cayuga Counseling Services has this background with community-based alternatives. Can I have a motion for HH 11 on the table?
I'll move it.
Second.
Any other discussion or questions beyond? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of HH 11?
Aye.
Any opposed? HH 11 carried. Anything else to report for us?
Well, I just wanted to talk about I did have permission from the Personnel Committee for my health home care manager position to be put through to this meeting. I'm not sure if I may have forgot to send it, but it's not on the agenda, so I didn't know if that would be something that we would be able to bring forward to Ways and Means, just because I went through the Personnel Committee, got all the approvals through HR and everything as well. I don't know if that's something that we could do for this month, or if you want me to wait, I can wait, but just wanted to bring it up.
This is one of the 2 care managers
Right.
positions you have that has funding attached to it through Medicaid. All right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, we had a resignation, and she's done. She's gonna be done. So I would like the sooner the better.
Would you be able to fill it soon if it came to Ways?
I would love to be able to advertise with the ability to fill it as soon as possible.
I'm just curious, you could certainly advertise.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't have somebody that's,
Right.
yeah, so. But I know that I did have permission to put it through for this month, so I wanted to bring it up here,
I
whatever.
remember clearly talking with you about it.
Yeah,
Not in the packet, it's not there.
So I just
Maybe
wanted
you
to,
got stuck somewhere in the resolution
It may have
process.
gotten stuck in my office. I apologize.
it could also be me, so I'm not sure. I have to look at it, but yeah, it didn't make its way here for whatever reason.
Blame Fred.
Okay.
If you're asking and you would like to, you can add it to the HHS agenda for Ways, if the committee doesn't mind doing that. Otherwise, you'd have to wait another month.
It's
fine.
approved. It's on our exempt
All right.
list.
Okay,
Get the resolution prepared.
it's done. It's already done. So I'll get it over to the resolutions. Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. And then, no, not many updates other than I know I mentioned before, but, the 27th, we will officially be fully staffed with social workers. That hasn't happened, I don't think, in the last almost 4 years since I've been in this position. So we're very excited about that. Mobile crisis is definitely picking up. It's been very busy. I think we've had, visits and follow-ups, over 200 visits so far for the year, which is definitely up from what it was. And it's all different referral sources, law enforcement to schools to just individuals calling and requesting it, for themselves or for a family member. So that, I think that's been picking up, which I'm glad to see. And, with any new program, I think it just takes time, but we are at a point where I think, law enforcement is using it quite often, the daytime team. So I'm happy about that. And then we did just hear one of the DOH grants that we have. We did hear that we will be getting 2 additional years of funding, which wasn't planned at all. So we worked with the Cayuga Health Network around working with homeless individuals and how we can get them. It's intensive care case management that goes to the hotels or wherever they are to try to get them connected to resources and hopefully help them, manage some of their symptoms and help them get into other housing as well. And they'll even go to people camping out or wherever they know where there's people that might be homeless and go there and visit and see if they can get them connected.
This isn't where they rent an apartment and they become the landlord, or it is?
That is separate,
That's a different,
but same agency,
oh, yes.
separate program. Yes.
Okay, and that's been pretty successful.
Yeah, and we've had some conversations around, they have some interest in wanting to expand that, but I think that we have to have some conversations first before we kind of bring that forward. But we've used opioid settlement funds to actually help fund that program.
Just curious, what is the DOH funding that you're getting for this?
You would ask that. I'm not sure of the exact amount, but it's a few $100,000 that we got for the first 2 years, and then this will be in the additional 2 years, which wasn't expected, so that's exciting as well. So just wanted to bring that up. And that's all I got.
While we have all the kind of key players in the room, earlier in the spring, maybe, there was a discussion and meetings were going to follow about having law enforcement involved in sort of a supportive way along with mental health in the hotels, in these areas to protect people, to give people resources. Has that continued, those discussions at all? Was DSS and
We had a
Brian
meeting.
and
We did recently meet again about that, continue trying to work on that initiative.
great,
It is moving forward.
okay. I know it's gotta be complicated stuff to coordinate, but be so beneficial. Okay. Thank you. And that brings us to Christine.
John's gonna help me talk about some of the personnel
Okay.
ones.
So we have 5.
Yeah.
Social service, human service resolutions get on the table, starting with HH3. Why don't we start there?
Okay. So HH3 is a resolution to enter into a contract with Chapel House for provision of a supportive case manager. This is to help provide folks that are unhoused case management services to help them address the issues that they have that are getting in the way of being independent and having permanent housing. It's an $81,632 contract.
Can I have a motion to get HH3 on the table?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions for Christine about HH3?
This is a renewal contract.
This is a renewal.
Okay.
Is it somewhat a little bit of a savings versus hotel rooms, correct?
For this one, this is case management. The next one is where we talk about,
Sorry, I'm getting.
yep. But that,
This case manager goes
Yeah.
into the hotels though,
Yep.
not with that population.
Any other questions like that? Question? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of HH3?
Aye.
Any opposed? HH3 passes. Thank you. HH4.
okay, so HH4 is a resolution to contract with Chapel House again. This time for provision of the transitional housing alternative for homeless clients, which is the 16-bed emergency shelter rehabilitate at 190-192 Grant Avenue. We're looking to enter into a contract only from November 1st, 2025 through April 30th, 2026, because this is the site that the new rescue mission shelter will go on. So we only need 6 months of this contract to get us through the time that they will be, the property will be closed on and it will no longer be the Chapel House's property.
Can I have HH4, a motion to place that on the table?
I'll move it.
Thank you.
Second. So to kind of address what you were saying.
Yeah, sorry.
This is one where there's, it is case management, there's, there's staff on site. And it is cheaper than almost most of our, hotels that we have that, take DSS clients.
With 16 spots.
It's 16 spots. So I, did the math on the difference between 2025 contract to the 2025-26, and it's a 1.6% increase. So it's $8,000 difference for the whole year. So about $4,000 difference. In 6 months.
As we talked the other day, you'll have to move people out of, they'll be relocated to hotels or wherever you can find housing for these
Right.
individuals.
Right, when we don't have the 16 beds available anymore, we'll have to come up with an alternative plan for whatever our population is at that point.
And at some point, you'll have to negotiate what you're going to pay the rescue mission in terms of how much of their operating budget to offset the cost of them running that shelter, right? But that won't be until it's built and
Right, well, before it's built, because the staff up of the, getting the shelter ready and then taking the residents into the shelter will be, in the fall of 2027. So there will be a gap from 2026 through 2027. There won't be a shelter on site.
Yep.
At that location. There still will be the Chapel House Men's Shelter.
Yep.
So we can still place, individuals at the men's shelter, but, right now, it's the Ray of Light and the men's shelter that we have that are considered shelters in the, community for singles.
To your question though, yes, we'll have to come back in 2027 and
negotiate.
negotiate,
Yep.
yes, the new contract with Rescue Mission.
But not before it opens.
Not before.
No.
Yep, okay.
Any other discussion, questions regarding HH4? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? HH4 passes. HH5,
So HH5 is to create and fill a principal account clerk and abolish 2 positions within the Department of DSS. We would like to create a position in our accounting unit that can handle accounting functions as well as the clerical positions that we're giving up, because the clerical positions can't do the accounting work, but the accounting folks can do the clerical things. They can take on that responsibility. And we also have another individual who is retiring at the end of this year, a senior audit clerk in our accounting unit, that we would like this principal account clerk to take on those responsibilities as well. So we're looking to create and fill the principal account clerk.
I have a motion to put HH5 on.
A second.
Questions and discussion about this? It did go through the Personnel Committee. It does abolish 2 positions, and it creates the opportunity for sustainability
Within the,
succession training.
yes,
This is in line with what you presented the other night.
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, the question at the Personnel Committee was, well, why can't you wait till the end of till the new budget? And, that was the follow-up questions that were made. And then there was some discussion about this would allow some cross-training.
Cross-training.
It's going to happen anyway, so. Move it forward.
Any other questions, discussion? All in favor of HH5?
Aye.
Any opposed? HH5 is carried. HH6.
HH6 is to fill 2 human services examiner positions. This also falls in line with the presentation that we gave last week. We have 4 current human services examiner openings, but we're asking permission to only fill 2, and then we will abolish the other 2. The 2 positions that we are going to fill are in our SNAP unit, which is the food stamps unit, and our public assistance.
I have a motion to put HH6 on the table.
Well,
I'll second.
In keeping in line with what we had tried to do in terms of the hiring restriction.
Yeah, we won't hire until.
This won't be filled till November 1st.
Correct.
And you've gone without 4 of them, 4 months.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Since April.
Be hopeful that some good candidates come through.
Yeah, we were given permission to start advertising.
Yeah.
So we have been looking at candidates and interviewing.
Any other discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor of HH6?
aye.
Any opposed? Carries. And finally, HH7.
HH7 is to fill an accountant position in our accounting unit. We had someone leave at the end of August. The reason why it's a create is because the position would be in the help program. So it's to create the title of accountant help program. But it is funded, and we intend to fund it for next year as well.
I'll move it.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
And, you know, this again you had an accountant position vacant since August.
Yes.
Initially, when we told the finance department that they couldn't fill their accountant position, the goal was that your staff might have helped that into that department, and then your staff resigned.
Correct.
So best laid plans,
Right.
but these are two key accounting positions within, one in DSS and one in finance.
Yes. Yes.
Give me your little data.
Any
point
other-
about that, you, Melanie.
Oh.
This is interesting today.
Today, I asked before we came here, just out of curiosity, how much our accounting unit processes for funds in a monthly basis. It's between 2 million and 2.5 million a month. So our accounting unit handles quite a bit.
It's essential. Thank you for gathering that information up. It is insane. Any other discussion, questions? Hearing none. All in favor of HH7?
Aye.
Any opposed? HH7 carries. Okay. Anything for us?
Just, I had a few things. I think I gave everyone a copy of this little one-page SNAP modification sheet that we had received at the end of September. Gives some really good information, some clear information about the changes from the Act bill around SNAP and all of the different areas of SNAP. They're going to change around ABODs and eligibility and administration costs, the cost shift for administration. So be good information to have.
So where one sees the X on this chart, essentially it's removing those exemptions.
Right. Yep, they do break it down pretty clearly around what's going to be the folks that are no longer going to be exempt. It's the homeless individuals, veterans, individuals aged 24 or younger who are in foster care on their 18th birthday. There's a lot of information on here.
Yes.
And the timeframes that things are to happen vary. There's things in 27, there's things in 28. But one thing that we just found out last week was that the waiver that New York State had for implementing the ABOD changes that are listed up top is shifting from February until November 1st. So the folks that were exempt are no longer going to be exempt, and our SNAP units have to on all of the tracking and all of the communication that we need to have with folks around their requirements that they have for work, finding work, going to job training programs. So we're still getting information about that. We thought we had a few more months of lead time that we were going to be getting information. It's accelerated quickly because the waiver had been removed from New York. We received that information just last week. Our staff are on it. They had a call with the state last week, I think on the 10th, and are already preparing letters, information that they're going to need to send out to all of the clients that are going to be impacted by this. And we're waiting really for there's a draft ADM that's been released for comment. So we know what's coming, but it hasn't officially been released yet. So as soon as we get the information that we can move forward with that, we'll be submitting, all the letters that we need to through the system to get out to the clients that are going to be impacted.
So it's February 26th that you're looking at.
No, it's
November
November
1st.
1, 2025. They've liquidated.
Yes,
They've
like in a
moved
couple
it.
weeks.
Do you know if any local food pantries that you partner with are starting to who's going to compensate for the loss, you think?
Good question. I haven't communicated with any local food pantries. That's a good point. I think that there's going to be a little bit of lead time. Like folks are going to have a few months to be able to work on getting their requirements met. After the 3 months, they're not going to be, they won't be continue to receive the SNAP benefits if they haven't fulfilled the requirements that they need to for documenting their efforts. So it's fine.
So this does say homeless individuals who are able-bodied adults with dependents,
without dependents.
without dependents, I mean, they have to go through the motions of work requirements and all of that, even if they're homeless,
Mhm.
in order to continue to get the SNAP benefit.
Yep.
Same with veterans,
Yes.
and they have been exempt.
Yeah, before, yes. Yep. And it's 80 hours per month, is what I understand, my understanding, at least 80 hours per month.
Of job search? Is that what you're talking about? 80 hours a month?
Or job work.
They have to be.
Working or
Okay.
participating in a program, a job readiness program.
It's not looking for work, it's actually employed.
Yes,
Yep, yep.
Or
or
the program.
Yes.
in a program.
You've got a lot ahead of you in terms of monitoring and finding work.
Yes.
Yes.
Sites and.
Staff. It's the
Yes.
tracking. It's going to be a big thing that we haven't had to do in quite some time, but tracking and making sure that, we have all of the documentation we need. So this is, this is happening. It's happening sooner than we thought. Let's see, what else do I have on here that was,
You guys have a ton of more administrative work, but no one knows what the caseloads are gonna do.
Correct.
No one knows if they'll drop in half or, I mean, no one. knows.
Right.
we don't know.
Right.
No.
As far as the federal shutdown, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security benefits continue. SNAP, we were told that the funding for SNAP continued through October. We're beyond October, we're not sure. There hasn't been any definitive information put out there yet. There was a USDA letter that was sent out and released about holding off on payments for November, preparing our payments for November, because there's uncertainty about whether those funds are going to be available for the benefits in November. OTDA has told us that they want us to not do anything different right now, that they are preparing a memo for us around expected, I guess, next steps. So more to come on that. But if there aren't going to be November SNAP benefits, that's going to be a huge, again, like you talked about, huge impact in the community. That's what I had about that. Homeless individual numbers, just wanted to give you a little bit of positive news on that end. Still, we had 84 singles and 18 families as of 10/10. So continuing to have, lowered numbers, seeing some folks kind of seems like every week or so, we're seeing that there was, permanent housing found by a few people. So good news on that front.
16 families?
18 families and 84 singles.
With the families, that's almost cut in half from reports of less than 6 months ago.
Mhm.
Wow, great work.
Yeah,
That is positive.
especially going into what's coming ahead, the
Totally.
the population is a good thing, yeah.
That's really all I had. Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thorough report. Brenda, always patient, waiting at the end. I'll mix it up one of these days. Brenda does not have any resolutions this month, so is there more to highlight from your report?
Yeah, mine's pretty short. We talked about the senior resource fair a little bit last time we were together, and you know that we had a really good turnout for that, a record turnout, and hope to continue that and continue the dynamic speaker like we have with Greg Olson. We do get lots and lots of good positive feedback from that and make lots of connections. So I wanted to mention the annual enrollment that I talk about every year has started. And so again, our staff, as of the time I wrote this, we had over 200 people already signed up requesting assistance. We usually assist, I want to say close to 400 or so. I might be off on that. Just during the 10 weeks, Yeah. We anticipate our appointments filling up we'll be able to stop making appointments most likely before Thanksgiving, if this year is anything like last year. We did work with our staff to sort of streamline again, kind of the process that we're using. So when people are calling now, they talk to a staff member, usually that same day, who explains that the health insurance counselor can't talk to them right then, but we'll send out the intake sheet that we use and we'll get them in the queue for an appointment. And that seems to be more efficient. And so our staff and the people calling are happier with that process. Kind of cuts down on the back and forth phone calls and messages. So, and then new this year, we've never done this before, but, and this year, again, to try to help alleviate some of the demand, I will be doing the Medicare 101 again in October, November, and December. Our HICAP coordinator was unexpectedly out one day when we had people coming in the door for Medicare 101. So I jumped in to do it and found out it was like riding a bike, that I really can do it when I need to again, even though I haven't officially done it in a long, long time. So decided I will keep trying to do that for the next 3 months. And we're just all really pulling together to try to meet this demand, and that gets bigger and bigger every year. Go Transportation, we want to make sure we optimize the funding that we receive for 2025. So we are encouraging anyone who wants to try it for any reason to sign up with us, and they can 60 and over. There's no, it's a very, very simple process to sign up. We'll authorize credits. They can use it however they want. We had somebody recently call that needed to know for sure that to get a ride to a couple very important masses for her on a Sunday. And so those are all scheduled. So we can't do that all the time, but we are offering that through the next 3 months. And just listed the trainings there. I do want to share, you know, that our staff are really filling the vacancy that we've had since May. During this annual enrollment period, I talked a little bit, again, last time we met, that if you've only got 3 people who are able to do the intake process for new callers, and we get multiple calls a day. One is vacant and one's on vacation. We got one person trying to handle every single call that comes in. This time of year, it's even worse because the people that would normally try to help with that are doing the health insurance counseling. And so they're overwhelmed already. They can't keep up. So it's really put us in a pinch. So far, we're keeping our heads above water, but you know, our concern is that people, we try to get back to them by the end of the next business day. And the pace is such that that may not be possible, and they may be waiting longer for us to get back to them. So hopefully we can get that position filled and that person trained in the near future. I wanted to add that we are looking at year 3 of our senior nutrition program contract. They had an option for a 3rd year. I'm waiting to hear back from them what that new price will be. If I recall correctly, they were the only real bidder on our program last time. So we're kind of at their working with them, and they just came out yesterday to visit, looked at some of our sites and such, and they're eager to continue with us. So that's good news. I just want to also just mention a couple of things that we're facing. USDA is one of the entities that normally would help us with home repairs, help people get assistance, loans and grants for really health and safety concerns in their homes. Of course, they're furloughed, so we have no contact for that. And so something that sounds simple, like helping somebody get a hot water heater who's been without one for 4 months. And even though they've applied through an agency, they haven't gotten any response. And USDA can't help, Catholic Charities can't help. Bishop Sheen has a 7 to 11 month waiting list to help. I just went down through every list that everybody that we had. And so it's really challenging, and that's a hot water heater. Very concerned this year that the heat program is not replacing furnaces or repairing furnaces. And that's a really expensive, concern. So I just wanted to have that on your radar, that our resources to be able to help folks in those situations are not what they were years ago. And the people are still calling, problems are still coming up. So that's it. On that note, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you
All right.
for staying in there,
Yep.
helping our elders
All right,
any way
thank
we
you.
can in these times. Any other discussion or work among us? If not, a motion to adjourn,
Move it.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Ben Vitale,
Down the hall.
Dawn.
John Wenzel,
Here.
Bob Shay,
Here.
Aileen McDermott Coleman is remote. Aileen,
He's a.
Hans Petcher, Mark Strong, Heidi Nightingale,
Present.
Elaine Daly,
Here.
Amy Sargent,
Here.
Brian Monroe,
He's on.
Here.
Dick Brian, Jonathan Allen.
Who's there?
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me for a moment. Thank you, may be seated. This is our third bringing a workshop of the legislature regarding the 26th budget. Tonight we have highway department, district attorney, sheriff. The highway department. You guys can. You're right around. Yeah, it should be up on the screen.
I didn't make copies for you, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, that's very. I sit with my back in screens.
Just say next slide.
First page is our org chart. And if anybody has any questions, yell at me. Next page. That's the positions and it's cost us over the last 5 years. 5 budgets, I should say. As you see, we've dropped. There is a slight anomaly in the 25 budget because we had those 2 positions that were held into April, is why you see a little bit more in that than what you see in the current year's budget. Next page is just these are our funds that we have, D fund and DM fund, which they're funded by an A fund transfer, which you'll see later on. We didn't list out every individual account because as you see, there's 150 accounts in the D fund and 110 in the DM fund. If there's anything that anybody wants pulled out, we do have that with us. We can get down into the weeds of things. Next slide is our revenues. The 7.5 million for a round number is what we receive from the state in our funding. Snowplow contract is the 550s are guaranteed take from that. The 7.5 is the A fund transfer I spoke about. That's actual money that comes out of county budget. The next slide is the revenue side of things, which is the A fund transfer over the years. As you can see, it stays pretty steady. It fluctuates a little bit. But over the last 5 years, it's only been a $300,000 difference. Slide is the expenses. It tells you what we're reimbursing through the state. And trucks and equipment, we reimburse our paving, surface treatment, stone and pipe is all infrastructure within the capital projects. Snowplow contracts is what we contract out to the towns, but that's our budgeted number. We haven't been over that yet. So in light winters, it would be less than that. Again, we did comparison on the last 5 budgets for defund expenses. And as you can see, they're trending down at this point. And that's all done through efficiencies.
Brian, can I ask you something?
Sure.
When you talk about the transfer, the 7.5 million
Yes.
from the A fund to the D fund, we had your budget meetings, I got the impression that was your local share.
Correct.
So whatever the county gives you through that transfer, your expenses are the 14 million.
Almost 15 million. Correct.
And then, so basically, those expenses get offset. The 7.5 really is the highway's local share,
Correct.
because the rest comes in as the $14 million budget.
You could say that we're 50% reimbursed, yes.
Okay, all right. And that's with the snowplow contracts and some of the other things that you're doing.
With the state, correct,
Yes, okay.
for our revenue side.
And the 7.5 draw from the A fund, that's been stable. That's what it was in 25, and you're looking at it the same for 26, unless you do your recommendation about the reserve.
Unexpended fund balance.
Yes.
We have our own fund balance.
Yep,
Yes,
you have a highway fund balance or a highway reserve, or could you,
we have both.
okay,
We have a highway reserve fund
yep,
that if we need to use that, we have to come to you as alleged to move money out of the reserve.
because it's a restricted account,
Correct.
okay?
And then we have the unexpended fund balance, which we would also have to come to you if we needed it for any expenses. But Lynn can use some of our fund balance to balance the budget to lower the 7.5.
If that's the strategy that the county wants to do, because you think your fund balance is
Yeah, we'll
healthy
get
enough.
We'll get there.
Okay, thanks.
We're
Yep.
not quite there yet.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, I think it was the next page. The next slide is fund balance. As you can see, our fund balance has grown. These are directly from what Grace gave us in that budget presentation 6 months ago. We obviously don't know what the 25 fund balance is, but we do expect it to grow again. Right, currently, we're sitting on, an unexpended fund balance, almost 3 million in the highway fund,
Sorry, why does it grow?
because we have money left over at the end of the year. Our budget, we
Okay.
do not go over our budget. We always outperform our budget, so.
Through other funding streams?
Yes,
Or
yes.
work you do, or,
An example would be the snowplow contract, because of the last winter was a lot more winter. We reimbursed a lot more through the state, so that excess was above what we budgeted. That will go to fund balance.
okay. That's how it would stay or grow.
Correct. And
I have a question.
sure,
Can you explain that again? So I would think that, is it because you have leftover, we had a good winter, like a warm winter, there was less plowing and stuff, that's why the fund balance grew, or because there was more snow that you got reimbursed more money? I didn't understand that.
yes, both. If it's a light winter, we would use less material. And it's like salt, for instance, and fuel. So there might be some excess funding there. But if we have an excessive winter, we're going to collect more from the state on our reimbursement on our contract. Because we're time and materials
Labor.
and labor. Does that help?
Yeah, it clears it up for me. Thank you.
And as you can see on the bottom of that slide, what has been used from the fund balance in the past 3 years, you'll see that like in 2024, we actually added a fund balance with our budget. And the next slide is, it's the conclusion to everything. I guess the whole point I've made with this presentation is that our budget has stayed flat. We've absorbed all the increases. And we did a lot of it through attrition, and on the equipment side, by purchasing the new equipment, we've been able to absorb the 60 to 70 parts because we're not fixing old equipment that should have been gotten rid of a long time ago, you know, with the new equipment, which our equipment's reimbursed through the CHIPS program. So at 100%. So that's helping us a lot. That's how we're able to maintain the budget the way we have.
Any questions? So I went to a Southern Roundtable the other day, and the question came up about the trucks and sudden purchases and why all our trucks, we can go through it and explain to the fact that, you know, purchase with CHIPS money. Stay under warranty with diesels and DEP, and that's reduced our expenditures. On the other side, is major fixes are under warranty, and we're just worried about oil changes. Can you expound upon that, or is that pretty much wraps it up?
Oh, that wraps it up. You know, if you keep a truck for 20 years, at some point you go upside down when your truck actually costs you more in repairs than it costs to purchase. That's not good. You want to keep it the other way around. You know, the D fund funds the DM fund through equipment rentals. We rent our own equipment from ourselves. And if you go upside down on that, trucks start costing money. You know, your parts accounts go up. When I started, we were repairing trucks that were 20 years old just to get through the day. And it was constant. And we've actually been able to, since I've been here in 5 years, we're down 2 mechanics.
And that's what I was gonna say, that ties up labor as well.
Exactly. Yep, through attrition. So
Good thing we were fixing those trucks because we were still paying for them.
I did catch that in a slide in somebody else's presentation. And just for clarification, that wasn't all highway trucks, that $20 million bond. They bought 3 that year. And yes, we still have 2 of them.
Question or comment or, so if the legislature says we're gonna save money, you're gonna do less paving next year. Does that save us money?
It costs us money. Because with a $7.5 million transfer from A fund and a $7.5 million state reimbursement, we will not be able to reimburse, and we will leave money sitting at the state.
That's what I do.
We will not be saving taxpayers a dime.
Right. So we need to maintain our roads.
We are, I guess you could call it an austerity budget where we sit now.
The other comment, I kind of made it last night with Sheriff's Department, but what's really interesting with the highway, that a lot of people don't understand is we are required to mow the roadsides, but we are not required to plow the snow.
Correct.
Yep. And you have to put signs up too, right?
Yep, signage is mandated. There's very few things at highway that's mandated, but mowing is the hot one, which includes tree removal and all that stuff as well. It's vegetation control.
Yep.
I just had a question for clarity. So in 2012, we bonded for equipment. Was that because CHIPS money wasn't available then?
I don't know.
It was an administrative decision made by the county manager at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was, I know they purchased 3 trucks that year because they were the wrong color. And that's how I remember it.
Probably didn't get any money.
Well, they were. They're the only school bus yellow trucks we have.
I saw one of those the other day.
Ben, at one point you, and I think you feel differently about that now, question whether we should get in the business of doing state roads. But the way it's going now, time and material, it makes more sense.
Brian does a lot of things different than what was done before.
Okay.
Is that
Yep.
fair enough to say, Brian?
Yep.
Yep. So it is a whole different highway department.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Well, your numbers show efficiency as you move up through to 2025. I mean, the projected budget year is down over $100,000 and several employees.
Right.
And to Brian's point, there has been conversation about setting some of that 7.5 for the portion of the unexpended fundings. So that is in play. At that discussion, we've already discussed the numbers.
It was your opinion, it was healthy enough. It wasn't going to be a stretch to take
It's
some from.
maintainable. It's maintainable.
Yep.
Anyone else for highway?
Brian, you have your trucks on a rotating schedule?
Well, we try. So we order trucks every year.
Okay.
I will say that the next person in line has got an issue because in my 23s, my 24s and my 25s are all sitting at the upfitters currently. We're 3 years right now for getting a truck delivered. So we're gonna get 9 trucks all at once. So that's gonna cause a little bit of a hiccup in that system, but yes. It's 7 years, we should be selling them and we're not there yet, obviously, because I've only been here for 5 years. And with those 9 trucks setting out there, it's an issue, but once we get those, you should be selling the trucks every 7 years and we'll actually get money out of the trucks versus giving them away, because by the time we sell them now, they've got a blown motor or they got a broken frame or, they're worn out because they're 20 years old. And the big thing with the 7 year and keeping them in warranty isn't necessarily the truck's lifespan of the truck itself is bad after 7 years, but the electronics on them are. And that's where the costs come in.
Especially when you're dealing with salt all the time,
Correct.
or half the time.
The emissions, the depth controls on everything, it's horrible. And that's why we try to keep them, I want to keep them in warranty because we don't have the staff or the funds to do those repairs.
Anybody else? Well, thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam District Attorney.
Good evening, everyone. I do have hard copies if anybody needs them. So I will. You guys are all set?
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody needs them?
This patch,
Oh, good.
distinguished.
Wish I could take credit for it.
I've decided to be a teenager.
Oh, I
So
sticker.
So if you have one.
I know, but I need to get one.
So I have the sheriffs and I have the county courts.
Oh, I need to get the stickers. Is a
And I
good
put them on the
idea.
back so it faces the camera.
My first 2 slides are just a layout of the total number of staff members we have in the office. So right now we do have 22, that's 21 full-time employees and 1 part-time who is our community accountability board coordinator, who that position was new last year. That's funded through our GIVE grant, that position. And this is just kind of a layout of where everything falls the best that we could in a very small space, so. I set out our revenue because we do have a lot of different grants. So I made a chart setting forth the revenue for 2025 compared to 2026. The Advent traffic reduction and diversion programs, because diversion is brand new, we are simply estimating based upon my conversations with other counties. I've spoken to a couple other counties who have the same exact model with reduction and diversion. Delaware County, for example, they just brought in their first year, $350,000 just through diversion. And they also have their reduction revenue coming in. So this is more of a lowball estimate. We do give a good portion of that back to the town and village municipalities, as we should, because they usually will get a fine as part of the traffic tickets that are resolved in their jurisdictions. So we just want to make sure that we're fair and equitable when we bring in that revenue through those programs.
So this isn't the revenue you keep. This is the total revenue and you split it.
Yes, then we split it. Yeah, we keep a portion and then the rest goes to the town and village where the ticket originated.
Is diversion more popular than reduction?
It's becoming more popular.
Because then you don't get,
Your ticket gets dismissed. Although we do a lot of parking tickets through reduction, and reduction we've been doing for years, probably about 4 years now, 5 years now, we've had the reduction program. A lot of jurisdictions have been moving to diversion. Oswego County, for example, only has the diversion option. But I like having both options. So I think I'm going to keep it that way. And I'm hoping that the courts, most of the courts, not all, but most are on board. So it seems to be going rather smoothly. Aid to prosecution went down a little bit, about $11,000 this year, but that fluctuates with our discovery grant. Discovery grant went up $30,000. So they, every other year, they ebb and flow back and forth. So sometimes we'll get more in aid to prosecution, sometimes we'll get more in discovery, sometimes they'll go down. So this year, we just happened to get a little bit less in aid to prosecution, a little bit more in the discovery grant funding. So, the prison reimbursement is strictly revenue, so we are trying to catch up. We were pretty behind. I think we're caught up to 2020 now, but every time a prosecutor handles a prison case, they keep a time chart of all their time and their duties and what they do, and then the state reimburses us fully for handling prison cases. So we get about 50,000 a year. It's been, like I said, we've been behind, but I'm hoping to keep that rather consistent moving forward. That's been a big goal of ours.
Prosecution.
Yeah.
Use that as a supplement for your attorney staff or
Yes.
some of the staff in your office.
Yes.
If that's down now, you'll have to make the appropriate adjustment. Can you use?
We can use discovery.
To not have anyone have a decrease.
Exactly, yeah. The discovery, I mean, they're somewhat interchangeable. The aid to prosecution should be used mostly for salary, for recruiting and retaining attorneys. So that's basically the whole purpose of that, although we do use a lot of that in contractual as well. We spread that out because we do need that in certain areas. So no, but discovery, I think we're up total between the two grants around $11,000, $12,000 to our office. Trying to think what else. The others we've had for a long time, the Give grant, we went down a little bit, mostly because we had a large portion in our office for community engagement, but really the Auburn Police Department was using that money and it was going through the county and we were getting reimbursed. And really, they should just handle it on their own. It's much simpler. It makes more sense. So we reallocated those funds to the Auburn Police Department. And that is a reimbursement grant, so that just makes sense.
That's where most of the crimes were? Is that why they got there?
Yeah, they're the primary law enforcement agency. It's based out of the city, but they set up most of the community engagement. Our office will participate, but they take the lead on it. So they should have that funding. We have a small amount for small events that we handle, like National Night Out and events like that. And then the Strive grant is brand new. So the good news about the Strive grant is OVS is no longer agreeing to pay our victim advocate full-time position salary. So they stopped that funding, but DCJS agreed to, because we are part of Strive and Give grants, they agreed to pay that salary. And they've already started, I think they've already paid for from October to January for that position. And then we're going to reallocate. They're going to give us more money in the Strive grant coming up for our next contractual period. I believe they're also agreeing to pay the fringe, which was never agreed with OVS. So we will be getting the fringe covered for that position as well, is my understanding. So that's really good news. Trying to think what else. All the other grants we've had for quite a while. So those are really nothing new. If we want to go to the contractual slide, I do have just a couple of changes. It's mostly just moving around the grant funding for lines that we need more based upon last year. Grand jury parking has increased. We have an agreement with the city, but we do pay for the grand jurors parking every Wednesday. That has increased that cost. Computer support has gone way up. So we have become paperless. We don't use files anymore, don't use any type of paper, and all our discovery is provided to the defense electronically. So we are fully electronic, but that comes with additional costs. So we have our Axon body cam program, which is mandated that we turn over all body cams from law enforcement agencies, as well as our prosecutor's case management system. So I anticipate between the two of those that will be around $25,000-$30,000 in the net. Maybe not this year, but certainly in the next couple of years. We have to renegotiate a contract with Axon because it's kind of hard to explain, but there is a a link between Axon program with the body cameras where law enforcement also uploads all the photographs and videos, and that is connected to our case management system. That price is significantly increasing. So we are going to have to enroll in one of their programs, which we have, for lack of a better term, not had to contract with them. Very minimal amount. I think it's like a $4,000 storage contract we've had. It's going to go up to about $14,000. So luckily, the discovery funding, any extra discovery funding can be used toward that. The telephone lines have increased. I'm not sure why. Maybe they did different use in system, but that was an increase. The decreases, we've just basically decreased grant funding and moved it to the places that we've needed it. So it's just I tried to even it out. Some of the lines are difficult for me to estimate. For example, expert witnesses, very difficult for me. So I just basically will pad that line so that I never have to go over, but we very rarely use the full amount in that budget. And it just is year by year. Like we have a murder case right now. We usually allocate 25,000 for that line. I have a murder case coming up and an expert just to do an initial evaluation, and a report is going to be $15,000. That's standard for one expert, one case. And I already know that exists. I believe that is going to come in this year's budget and will be taken out of this year's budget, but some of it could, if we have to go to trial, could move toward next year. So that is a huge expense that we have to budget for and make sure that we have the funding for that. Similar to extradition, I've had some years with extradition costs, it's $5,000. And some years it's $30,000. The average extradition right now is about $8,000 to go get somebody out of state. It's a lot of money. We aren't able to use the U.S. Marshals Service like we used to. In fact, the U.S. Marshals Service tends to be more expensive than private companies right now. So we have a couple private companies that we work through. Yeah.
So you don't go.
No, I don't get to go. It'd be nice, Florida, Texas.
You contract out with.
We contract out. Yes.
They tend to head south, huh?
Yes, they tend to. So we get a lot from Florida, a lot from Texas, but honestly, all over the place. The easy ones are Pennsylvania. So sometimes we'll get them from Pennsylvania. Then the state police, we have a interstate compact agreement that we can get them. So that's not the problem. But we don't get so lucky all the time. There is one new line that I did have to create based upon kind of a change in the way that we're handling things, and that was just a reallocation of grant funding. It's the special prosecutor line. In the past, we have been able to call up a different DA's office and say, hey, we have a conflict of interest. Our office can't handle this because it's a relative or some other conflict that just, you can't handle those cases. And they've taken it. We still have that relationship, but other DA's offices are significantly understaffed. They don't have the ability to take those cases they don't have the ability to handle their own cases, let alone cases from other counties. So in this area, it was somewhat of a reciprocal agreement that we would help each other out. I mean, we took 5 cases this year from Seneca County, special prosecutor cases, just to help. They've taken one from us. So we still have those relationships. But in the event that I have a significant case and no other DA's office can handle it, I need to have some money set aside to pay a special prosecutor. And a special prosecutor can be a former prosecutor who's currently a defense attorney. So we do have a couple in the area, that are currently defense attorneys here that could take those on. And I've talked to one of them and she would be willing, if we needed it, to have that. My goal is to not use it at all. My goal is to initially go to the other DA's offices, ask for a favor and hope that they can do it. But just in the event of an emergency, we need to have something set aside.
Vigo isn't taking any right now.
No. And in fact, I don't know what they're hiring Oswego County is hiring all defense attorneys to handle special prosecuting cases. So they've had a lot of conflicts. But Seneca County's been great. Onondaga County's been great. They always are extremely reciprocal with us, as are we with them if we need to be. So, and then some other budget discussions. I mentioned the forensic psychologist that we're going to have coming up. I do anticipate that'll come out of this year's budget, but just in case, I wanted to make the legislature aware. And then the computer support I did talk about. We are requesting $30,000 from grant funding. It's going to be $25,000 from our discovery, $5,000 from aid to prosecution. I am working with DCJS currently to hopefully get partial funding for that, for the body camera. They are open to it. We are going to have further discussions in January. They do have technology grants that have covered this in the past for other agencies, mostly law enforcement, but they're open to DA's offices. So that will be further conversation that we will have, and that's what I'm hoping they'll be willing to cover some of that for us. So, and that's, I believe, all we have. One other expense in grand jury professional services, we have to leave that as is. Our grand jury stenographer will be going out on maternity leave, so we do have to hire somebody to cover that. So that will be an expense because we can't stop grand jury while she's out. So
Under contract. Yes,
Correct.
she's your employee that we dealt with.
yes.
Is there, I mean, that's such a specialized position.
We have
Maybe
someone.
we're buying-
Yes, we do have someone that has already agreed to cover that time period. So, and it's someone we've contracted with in the past in the event that our grand jury stenographer is not available, which has been rare. But she's agreed to take on for that maternity leave period, so.
Great.
And I believe that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the district attorney?
Little comparison from a few years ago. The county doesn't save much on salaries these days because you keep a full staff. And
Trying,
I guess I compliment you on that.
thank you.
It's not easy to keep a full staff all the time.
We have a great staff. I think we're very blessed to have the prosecutors that we have right now, so I'm very proud of them.
I hope they feel supported by the legislature.
Absolutely.
There was a pretty decent move in salary a year or two ago, right? That really. made a
Honestly,
difference.
that made the difference. We became competitive with the surrounding counties. So that made it, and honestly, it's a nice place to work, a nice environment to work. We have a good relationship with our defense bar. So it's not bad compared to some of the bigger jurisdictions where it's a little bit more high stress.
Oh, people left Oswego and came to Cayuga.
Yes. So. And we had a lot of experience with that, which was good, so.
Anything else?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Good evening. I do not have hard copies. I assumed everybody would have them, so my apology. So I was going to walk you through the different divisions of our department and some of the budget impacts that we're having with each one. The first page, next slide, just outlines the different divisions of our agency, and they are listed in the order that they show up on the budget. I will note that our civil division, that budget falls within the road patrol division, so it doesn't have its own separate budget line. And I did note security at the county office building is still listed in the budget, but obviously that's not funded, so we won't be covering that. Next slide. Our first division is our security division. We have 32 security officers that cover court security at our downtown courts, as you know. Fortunately, when the county office building closed, we were able to take our 7 county office building security staff and roll them into the courthouse with the addition of the new family court judge. So that was good timing. We didn't have to let them go. We did have spots for them when the office building closed. We also have 2 court attendants in that division. Next slide. Our anticipated revenue for court security for 2026 is listed. That covers all salary and fringe for those staff. With the exception of any training, the state does not reimburse us for training. So we do have just under $27,000 in there. We have added, that's a little bit higher than last year. Each year it goes up a little bit just due to the salary changes, but we put a similar amount in there each year to cover training, and that includes training at the range, qualifications and any active shooter training that we do throughout the year. So that's the local share for our security division would be that $27,000. Next slide. If somebody has a question, please do stop me. That slide, I don't need to read through everything that the road patrol division does. You have that, but that's a breakdown of the staff that's within the road patrol division. Some of the primary functions that division is tasked with taking care of in our community. I will clarify at the bottom, it does list 4 part-time special patrol officers. Those are actually school resource officers in those particular school districts that are fully funded by those districts. Next slide. In our road patrol, the budget.
Excuse me, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Back up on this special police officers. I heard a comment from another legislator that we're not getting reimbursed for fringe on those, but I believe we are, correct?
We are correct.
Thank you.
But in this, Brian, the detective sergeant was the position that was, I think, created at the time for supervision of the SROs and for training and other things. Is that?
No, that was one of those 6 road patrol sergeants.
Oh, it was a road patrol. Okay.
One of those sergeants oversees the SROs. And as you recall at the time we did, I was asked to ask the school districts to include a 15% administration fee in the contracts. We do receive that from all of the schools with the exception of Port Byron because we had already had a contract with them at the time. But when that one expires, I will be looking if they renew it to get that 15% to help cover the costs of the road patrol sergeant supervisor.
So our deputies who are in the schools, they're working part-time, it's considered part-time.
So the 4 special patrol officers are part-time. They are retired police officers from our community that are part-time. We do have 1 full-time deputy that is one of the 21 road patrol deputies that is within BOCES, but BOCES fully funds that position as well as the patrol car that deputy has assigned to him. So the 4 at the bottom, yes, part-time retired members, 1 full-time deputy sheriff at BOCES.
And is that because they're not at a particular school every day or all day?
Part-time school year, right?
Just that they just follow the school calendar.
Oh.
So when school's not in session, they're not working.
They're out, yeah, okay.
Whereas the full-time deputy actually during the summer, he actually is still at BOCES because they have special programs in the summer. But if for some reason the school's closed and he's working, he would be on the road that day.
Thank you.
Sure. For the road patrol division, I did note, I put in a request or I'm putting in a request for 3 marked cars for the patrol division. Much like Brian, I'm hoping that to get on a cycle down the road here where we're replacing 4 to 5 vehicles for the entire department a year. I know in years past, we sheriffs and myself included have had to come to the legislature looking for a number of cars. We did replace 6 vehicles last year, department wide. This year, I'm only looking to replace 3. I think that we can get by with 3, but I'm hoping to get a number somewhere in the middle of that each year moving forward when we're able to do that, just so that we can not have to come, 1 year looking for a significant number more than that. In this particular budget, I did trim some conference and training lines as well as our SWAT line and putting off replacing some of our mobile radios in our patrol cars, just given our budget challenges. Some of those lines, they were not trimmed significantly. They were small reductions, but trying to cut back. I've listed the expenses and revenue for the road patrol division in that slide. The revenue line does not include federal stone guarding funding that we get for overtime patrols at the north end of the county. That is not included in here. That's separate funding that's not in our revenue line.
And that 7 million is all the positions listed above?
It is correct. That covers the entire road patrol division, civil, and part of navigation. The big strain, and you'll find with the entire budget, it's not that there's anything additional that I'm looking to fund with this budget. It's all labor costs, health insurance, and overtime stress. And that's the case with the road patrol division too. That's That's the reason for the increase in expenses in 2026 from 2025.
Sheriff, what are some of your overtime stresses that keep your overtime budget number? That's, I mean, I think the last couple of years you've exceeded what you budgeted for. What are those stresses that drive those costs up?
So you're seeing that go up because of contractual raises. That obviously has a huge impact on overtime costs when the contract raises are implemented. Call volume, it depends, on how many calls we have in a particular year. Sometimes, there's overtime involved if somebody's on a call and they're stuck over at the end of their shift. Or on certain calls, if we have to call everybody in, if it's a major call and we call everybody in, there's a strain on our overtime budget there. We do have billable overtime. I think this year we've billed about $85,000 worth of overtime to different grants. And I think typically we have about a quarter of our overtime budget is billed to grants. But additional strain can be if we have vacancies, if people are out or if people are hurt, or if we have an extended training or something like that, we have to backfill. Somebody's sick, we have to backfill. Usually that comes with somebody working overtime, because on our particular road shifts, we typically don't have extra cars on that can maintain our coverage without having somebody come in and cover that overtime if needed. So we typically have 3 to 4 patrol cars out there with a supervisor at any given time. And if somebody's sick or on vacation or at a training, that's going to require overtime to backfill that.
I guess this is just, it sounds more arrogant than I mean it, but there is the ability, unlike the jail, to control overtime. I mean, you have the ability to control what overtime you authorize.
We do, yes. We're certainly not as short on the road. We're only down one position on the road, so we have a little bit more flexibility there, but we only have 21 road patrol deputies trying to maintain, 24/7 coverage year round too. So we don't have an extended number of deputies on the road at any given time. So we're really limited when we have, if you've got 2 people on a shift that are off for whatever reason or at training or whatever the case might be, we really have no choice but to backfill it with somebody on overtime.
And years ago, there was always 24/7 coverage, or this is new, or?
Since I've been with the sheriff's office, we've always had coverage.
Whether it be prior to you or not, but as far as, since you've been the sheriff, you have really looked at 24-hour coverage.
Correct. And since I've worked with the sheriff's office the last 3 decades, we've always covered.
You always have?
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's an expectation that we do. So those are some of the stresses, and I did list at the bottom of that the actual overtime amounts that we've seen since 2022.
2024 was really a huge anomaly, right?
It was. There were some vacancies, and sometimes with the overtime, you'll have salary savings if you've got some vacancies that will help offset part of that. Where the challenge is at times is if you have, with the road patrol division, there's a 6-month academy. So say you have 2 or 3 vacancies on the road, but you've got 2 or 3 people in an academy for 6 months that you're still paying while they're going to the academy. You don't realize that salary savings, but you have the overtime. But we did have some vacancies in 2024. I didn't do a deep dive into that, but I did notice that is a little bit higher. There was obviously a raise that came with that, with the contract into 2024. So that impacts that too. I don't know how much billable overtime there was in 2024, so I can't give you that amount, but there definitely was an increase from 23 to 24. And I've got 2025 to date. You can see where we're at with that. But each year, the raises are certainly impacting our overtime costs as well.
And is your navigation, is that in that number as well, or is that, because I see you have it on the next page, but I know that your navigation runs off the road, the Stanley line on the road as well as included part of that navigation line.
Yes, if you want to go to the next slide, I can answer that. So the navigation division, we do have a separate budget for that. It used to be that we would have a full navigation division of part-timers that would work in that division. They would not include anybody, or that division would not include anybody from our road patrol division. We've had a lot of trouble recruiting over the last few years to get part-time police officers or part-time navigational assistants. This body has raised the salary over the last couple of years in an effort to try to attract part-time police officers or assistants to fill that role. Unfortunately, again, this year, we were only able to bring on one part-time police officer, which was one of our special patrol officers from one of our schools, and 3 assistants. So without that part-time staff, we're forced to utilize some of our road patrol division members on overtime at times to cover different details on the water. And this year we had, it looks like we figured it out earlier today, about $30,000 in patrol overtime would be attributed to our navigation division for 2025. And it looks like about $10,000 of that's going to be billable. So about $20,000 from our overtime budget after our reimbursement from the state is going to be coming from our overtime budget. That's on top of the expenses and revenue that I've listed on this slide for the navigation budget. Lynn and Danielle, our fiscal officer, are going to be working to adjust the budget so that we can put in the budget how much we're using in any particular road patrol overtime. So it's a better accounting and gives you a better visual of what it's costing for the navigation division. But for 2025, you're gonna have about $30,000 in additional patrol revenue, and $10,000 of that will be billable, in addition to the expenses and revenue listed. Does that make sense?
Now, the overtime rates, are they eligible for the New York State Parks funding as well, or is that just for the part-timers? Or is that, I mean, I know it's based on 40-hour work time that we stated earlier, is that?
It's a little confusing. So if, say we had a drowning on the water or some major incident, and we have deputies out there for a full 40-hour week with a navigation detail, and they go over and there's overtime attributed, we can bill the state 50% of that overtime rate. If that whole week or that whole time they were out in the water performing navigation duties. If they're out on the road, for half the week, and then they're out on the road or on the water for an 8-hour day that's attributed to overtime, we can only get reimbursed for 50% of a straight time hour. So even though we're paying them time and a half, we can only bill for 50% of that straight time hour. Does that make sense? So that's why the difference, it's not a 50% reimbursement from the $30,000, it's only $10,000 approximately due to that fact. But we will be working to address that in the budget, and I'm likely going to be coming back in January, hopefully if we get this approved, and trying to raise that part-time salary again. It's currently at $30 for a part-time police officer, $20 for an assistant, a navigation assistant, but I'm going to come back and try to raise that again to try to attract some part-time officers, because we can get, more hours out on the water. It costs a lot less if we can attract those part-timers that we can actually get reimbursement for 50% on their time. So we will be looking to try to do that again. Next slide. That just outlines the staff that are within our jail facility. Most of you have toured the jail facility. You're familiar with that. Any questions on the staffing? Next slide. As I talked about public safety last night, our staffing levels in the jail are really concerning. We're actually down 14 full-time custody deputy positions right now, and we anticipate 2 more retirements before the end of the year. I also noted that we have 11 additional people that will be eligible for retirement between now and June of next year. And that's in addition to 6 that are eligible to retire right now. We have 5 in the academy. So as I discussed with salary savings, we have 5 individuals in a 12-week academy right now that we're paying. While we're paying overtime to fill those positions, and we have a significant amount of overtime every day to cover these posts just due to the fact that we're short so many people. We've had a lot of staffing losses, 21 from 2023 to present. We've lost 21 people, and we're down 14, as I said, right now. Our candidate pool is really small. It's hard to attract good candidates. And as I mentioned last night, I think it's really imperative that we start thinking about having a discussion with our union the jail to try to retain our experienced members, at the same time trying to make sure that we stay competitive to attract other people. Next slide, please.
I do know emails have gone back and forth trying to get a date for the fall. I committed to a couple dates in November. I don't know if the union or who was ever Diane.
Last I haven't heard that there was any.
I just sent them more dates 2 weeks ago at their request. So
Okay.
and I think that was in the same email that we're all in, but I haven't heard back. So
The labor attorney is out of the loop apparently. He's not aware, Colin's not aware of that, so I guess we'll have to work on that. But
we'll do call. I'll reach out to call.
okay, thank you. I think it's important that we start those conversations. We have to get this done. No vehicles have been budgeted for the 2026 year for the custody division. We've replaced a few over the last few years and we'll be good there. We budgeted flat for our medical, prescription, building maintenance, food. They're relatively flat in the budget. Those can be very challenging. We never know what we're going to get for medical needs or prescription needs in the facility, but knock on wood, this year we're in a good place with those. Revenue, we are still boarding in a number of inmates. Last year, we budgeted revenue for this year at $900,000. I think we're on track to be just below that a little bit. I'm hopeful that we can meet that by the end of the year, but we just lost a few local board-ins. But I wanted to point out, we are budgeting for next year $900,000 again, but we are adjusting our numbers. We're starting to take in more local board-ins from other sheriffs and counties than we are federal board-ins from the Marshal Service. So we're adjusting our numbers a little bit, but they still do total $900,000. But I'm concerned that if we continue on a track of losing staff, if we do continue to lose staff and have to make some adjustments or potentially board out some of our people to another facility, that we're going to have to push out those borders, and that could impact that revenue number as well.
At one point, that revenue was like 1.5 years ago, and now this is a more realistic.
It was. So there's a lot of, there's additional jails throughout the state that are competing to get these federal board-ins where they didn't have them before. Over the last few years, you've seen a lot of sheriffs seek that revenue, so we've been competing with them. We just don't have the number of federal board-ins available that we used to. Also in 2023, I think you remember we had a year where we had to push a lot of them out because we had so many local people in our jail. We didn't have the room for them. And unfortunately, when we did that, I think it's been very hard to get them back. We had a significant number and had to move some of them out, but it's been hard to get those numbers back and meet those kind of revenues numbers that we used to. But given the number of local inmates that we've had, I don't think we could meet those revenue goals, even if they were available. We just don't have the room in the facility. Next slide, please. And this slide outlines our expenses, anticipated expenses for this year versus last year in revenue. It is up considerably, again, due to health insurance, our salary savings, or I'm sorry, our salary increases. And then overtime is putting a huge stress on this budget. And let me back up a little bit. A salary increase is not factored in for the road or for the jail division. I'm not sure if the budget director is looking at that, but the salary for 2026 is listed as the same salary for 2025 as the contract is ending this year. So there is no salary adjustment, but the health insurance, overtime, and those adjustments for overtime are putting a huge strain on this particular division in this budget. I did outline the year over year overtime costs from 2022 on, and you can see where we've trended there. And this year is going to be, unfortunately, significantly higher, I believe, than 2024, just due to the vacancies that we have. And I don't think we're going to realize as much salary savings in the past with just the turnover and the people we've had in the academy and paying them at the same time. But But again, I think it's imperative that we try to look at recruiting strategies and retention strategies for many of these folks that are eligible to retire. Next slide.
Hey, Sheriff, I do have a question about the previous slide.
Yes, sir.
My question is, and I might have missed this, but is the overtime because of the road patrol or is it because of the jail?
So the major strain on our budget is the jail overtime, just due to the number of staff vacancies. Every day and every shift, we've got people that we're either mandating to stay on overtime, or we have staff that are volunteering, and they're, you know, I give them a lot of credit. A lot of staff are stepping up and working voluntary overtime, but we're short so many positions that just about every shift we have people working overtime.
Thank you. That answers my question.
And then the last slide is just an overall picture. Again, just highlights the fact that contractual increases, the overtime and health insurance costs are what's driving the increases from this year to next year. That there's no additions or really significant increases, anything. It's just those things. So I did put on there a few of our goals as far as trying to address some of these things. Hoping that we can get to a place where we can attract some people to fill some of these positions in the jail and hopefully knock that overtime number down a little bit. But that's one of the primary goals. That's all I have. Are there any questions?
I think we had an interesting conversation down there about the timing of your contracts, and that 3 years ago you had gotten yourself to the midpoint. And now when they go to look at the surrounding counties, the salary for Cayuga is not in line. Is that?
Yeah, so we're falling down to the lower end of the salary for neighboring counties in our local area here. Everybody's facing the same challenges that we are, so they're trying to stay ahead with the best salaries that they can offer to attract people. So 3 years have gone by and now we're on the lower end again, unfortunately. And I think that's, contributing to why we can't attract people. There just is not a large pool of people seeking these jobs. We also talked about the fact, for those of you that were here then, I had advocated for a 3-year contract for the jail union versus a 4 that the road has. The road has another year to go. I had advocated, realizing that we were going to lose a number of people this year because they were coming up on their 25 years. 25 years ago, we hired a large group of people as we built all of the pods at the jail. And I advocated for a 3-year contract, thinking that we could come back to the table and try to address the staff losses. And that's where we're at this year. We have a lot of people. I think we've had 13 people leave this year alone. A lot of them retiring because they've gotten their 25 years. So I had hoped that we could try to address that through negotiations, and we haven't been able to do that yet. So
You said not realizing the financial issues the county is facing.
I certainly didn't realize this was going to happen 3 years ago, right? Nobody did, but I did know that we were going to likely lose a number of people if we didn't address that, and we are. That's come to life.
Yeah. So
that's where we're at.
Sheriff, you might have answered the question already, but the jail was updated 25 years ago, you just said?
There were, yes. So the additional pods were built on the backside of the jail 25 years ago, and we hired all of the staff then.
So where I'm going is that, that jail is a 24-hour facility. It takes a lot of abuse. You look at our county office building, a lot of times we didn't maintain it the way we should have. And I'm supposing sometimes that happens at the jail also. When do you think this county is going to have to really consider investing a significant amount of money into the facility?
So I don't see any, knock on wood, major projects that are coming down the pike that are going to be of significant cost. We do budget a pretty good amount for building maintenance each year, and we try to make sure that we keep up with things. We do have things that you're aware of. We do have a roof that needs to be replaced. We have some sidewalks that need to be replaced. Chiller that needs to be maintained that's getting 25 years old. But as far as anything, significant beyond those things, I'm not seeing anything, but we are trying to stay on top of those things. And
The building should last another 25 years.
we're going to do our best, at least as long as I'm here.
Well, I don't think you're gonna be here another
I'm
20.
not going to make it 25 years. I can guarantee that.
My point is that this county needs to start thinking about setting funds aside because, our kids or maybe our grandkids are gonna have the issues that we're having now.
I think the public safety complex overall is in pretty good shape. Certainly need to take care of those things I talked about, but I hope something doesn't break down tomorrow that makes me a liar, but I'm not aware of anything that we need to be concerned with in the near future.
When the pods were added, did it go from a facility that housed X number of people to increased capacity of something? I mean.
Yeah, the capacity increased 120 when the pods were added.
Okay. So you could hold 200 inmates? I mean.
So our bed count is 214.
Okay.
But as I've explained in the past, that doesn't mean we can pack 214 and right classification kind of dictates how many we can plug in different places. But we are a 214 bed facility.
I know that Kevin's down here, so. Chose the roof and I believe the sidewalk is listed as a priority project. No. I think Kevin's still working. Correct?
He is, yes. Yeah, he's been out and he's doing a good job with that.
Anybody else for the sheriff? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for shifting me from the 8th. I appreciate it while I was out of town at conference. I'm going to try to make this as brief and painless as possible. I understand there's a lot of slides. Don't fret. I am not going to read them all.
Not as long as your reports.
Right. I'm going to try to quickly summarize it and highlight some key for you. So as you see me flip the page, feel free to jump ahead. So my first real slide of content for you is a reminder of our role. Kind of what does the planning department do? We are a multi-disciplined progressive planning and economic development office with a staff of 7. Myself, a principal environmental planner, a senior planner, a senior GIS analyst, and 3 planners. We are committed to providing assistance to the 23 towns and 9 villages within the county, improving the quality of life in our communities and protecting our natural resources. We have 2 main disciplines that the majority of our work is centered around: land use and community planning, and environmental planning and natural resource protection. Our broad scope of work includes land use planning, environmental resource protection, renewable energy development, park and recs. Generally, our planners work on town and village comprehensive plans, zoning ordinances and open space plans, recreation, farmland protection plans, prepare state and federal grant applications, and manage capital projects secured by the department. The department provides an open and collaborative work environment with a team of committed professionals engaged in a broad range of countywide planning and economic development activities. Next slide. Breaking down a little bit further for you, the structure of the department. As a reminder note, you'll see here we no longer have any administrative staff. Both our part-time and full-time positions were eliminated for the 2025 budget. But the part-time position was unfunded at the end of 24, and the full-time position was unfunded March 31st of this year. That leaves all administrative duties falling on myself. Next slide. Highlighting here for you really quickly. Trying to illustrate over the last decade or so for you the broad range of projects that we've been engaged in. This slide and the next is summarizing this work. I've highlighted out boldly for you the county-wide initiatives versus those that are directly related to a particular municipality. One of our biggest accomplishments has been our success in grant writing to support many of the projects listed here. In addition to securing grants for some of our municipalities and the County Parks Department, we have secured over $22 million in this 10-year timeframe which includes a $10 million DRI for the villages of Cayuga, Union Springs, and Aurora, and a $2.25 million New York Ford Award for the village of Moravia. For the Parks Department, as noted at the bottom of the slide, we have secured $4.6 million in capital improvement grants, and an additional $1.3 million for the Wasco Flats project that restored wetlands habitat and is currently functioning to help mitigate some of the flooding risk in Moravia, as well as capturing and filtering out nutrients and sediment before it reaches Wasco Lake, helping to keep the lake cleaner. Slide. One of the items that we're asked to provide information on in our budget presentations is any mandated work that we do. So the next few slides provide details on such work. And I've provided the state law and or Cayuga County Legislature resolution number as a reference, along with a description of the actual work that is required. This slide is our ag and farmland protection work, particularly with regards to creation, maintenance, and review of the county's ag districts and the County Ag and Farmland Protection Board. We do provide staff assistance to the Ag Farmland Protection Board, and my title by state law is a required board member seat. Next slide. Here I provide information on the required general municipal law 239 subsection L, M, and N reviews that we conduct every month on certain development proposals that our towns and villages are required to send to us for review of potential intermunicipal or countywide impacts. We provide staff assistance to this committee, and per county resolution and the committee's bylaws, there are 2 required committee seats by title from our department, myself and my senior planner. Additionally, GML law calls for the establishment of a county planning board, not the original title given to my department in the 60s, but the 33 member board of representatives from all of our municipalities, all 23 towns, 9 villages in the city of Auburn. We do provide staff assistance.
Do we have that now? 33 board?
Yes.
Okay.
County planning board, since 1964, has had 1 member from every municipality in the county. That's it on that.
Okay.
Okay. So we do provide them staff. We help facilitate their board meetings and provide them with the mandated training every single year. Next is solid waste management and the implementation of the solid waste management plan that's required by New York State Environmental Conservation Law and overseen by DEC. Along with the position of the Cayuga County Solid Waste Manager that was created through county local law back in 1988 and then subsequently merged into our department a number of years later. Currently, the position title and duties are held by my senior planner and integrated into his workload. As noted on this slide and through that county resolution, the position is required voting member of WQMA, as is mine. That title of solid waste manager does not come with any additional salary. It's just additional duties that have been assigned to that individual. It used to be part of the job of Bruce Natalie before he retired. So on the next slide, again, required environmental work. This is related to the enforcement of the watershed rules and regulations originally set forth in 1984. And the legislature's creation of the Water Quality Management Agency. As I said, we have two voting members on that. And the Wasco Lake Watershed Management Council does have 1 required seat from our department as well. All right, last one for mandated work. This is a newer one from NYSERDA. This was result of our works to be a more sustainable and energy efficient county with regards to our buildings and vehicle fleet. The Ledge adopted a local law in 2017 establishing annual benchmarking requirements in compliance with NYSERDA regulations. So we have been doing that through our office since 2017. And that work, along with the grants that we have received, have made us eligible to receive more funding, including the grants that we just got last year for the EV charging stations that will go here at the park and the solar that will go here at the park. So those reports and things are available on our website. I can share the link if anyone needs. Moving on. So again, these are required seats, either by an agency's bylaws or by county resolution that I, as the director of the department, have to participate on. And the next slide is the continuation of that, in addition to positions that have all of you have appointed me to or that organizations or the chair of Ledge have requested that I attend and participate on. This is voting membership of my staff on also various agencies by their bylaws, our own resolutions. Final list of that, in addition to the boards and agencies at the county that we provide staff assistance to. I am not going to go through these in detail. I know you guys have them in the packet, but I wanted to provide you a little bit of supplemental information from what is in my normal report on current workloads and projects and tasks and duties of staff. In my office, I've organized them by best I can by topic for you. Next slide. These are our open current grants that we wrote and are managing. Grants that we have written just this year. One was awarded and we're waiting for announcements on award results for the rest by the end of the year. Municipal assistance, we are still doing this, even though most of our work right now is geared towards countywide initiatives. We have contracted with 4 municipalities this year. The Aurora contract is pending. It's going through the attorney's office now. All contracts as of January 1, 2025 with municipalities are for 100% reimbursable hourly rate plus fringe for all staff time and all other reimbursables, travel, printing, postage, whatever it happens to be to get the project done. There is a specific revenue line in my budget that is specifically for local assistance. So we will continue to do those projects to bring in that required revenue where we are able to do so. Hopefully everyone's well aware of the natural resource protection work that our staff does, but if not, here it is again. Summarizes some of the work and associated programs and grants. Currently, this work is being conducted almost exclusively by my principal environmental planner, as she has done for many, many years now, but we have started succession planning for her eventual retirement, at least 5 years from now, hopefully. With the planner that I hired in mid-April of this year, that planner is splitting her time between learning from the principal environmental planner and participating in meetings, activities, et cetera, and then working on county initiatives and community assistance projects.
Carrie, I have a question. I didn't know is there a mandate for every county to have a planning department?
Not for a planning department specifically, but a lot of the work that would have to be done. It needs a planning department to lead it.
Okay, because some counties don't and they divvy up
I don't know of any counties offhand that do not have a planning department. I know that most county planning departments do different work than what we do. So they have different staffing levels. One county that comes to mind that is the most close to what we do is Onondaga County, and their staff is easily twice the size of mine, and they have their own economic development arm. That's
bigger county.
They're a bigger county. But there's other counties that are comparable in size, but just don't do the work that we do. That they have, other agencies that do that work. They have much smaller staff. So, all right, sorry. Last slide on this work. Again, this is highlighting, our solid waste management recycling program. And then the health department assistance that we provide for a grant that Kathleen and her staff have. Kathleen is aware, she's already working on a succession plan within her own department to have my staff train her staff on how to take this over when my principal environmental planner retires. So they've been working on that for a couple of years now, but the problem is just retention of the people that they hire select for that position. This is highlighting grants secured, written, and awarded by my staff between mid-24 through this year. Just to highlight that we have been able to bring in what comes through my revenue lines, a little over $1.8 million. The county infrastructure grant, second from the bottom there, we are still working through the contracts process and working with ESD to a point where we're comfortable to bring something forward to this body to move that along. That is for the housing project in Auburn. And then the last one is a little bit funky. It's technically a grant to DEC that we do every year, but it is actually reimbursement for roughly 50% of the cost for our HHW collection event that we're eligible for. Sure.
These other grants at the top above that from Smart Community to Finger Lakes, are these all county initiatives or some of these like Moravia, New York, for these buildings?
No, these are all countywide initiatives. So the FLOPA is our countywide water quality and natural resource invasive species that goes countywide. Every year, our annual allocation went up. The Moravia New York Forward is the one that we took on at Moravia's request on their behalf. That's kind of a one-off, but everything else is
That's
countywide.
the only one on the list that's technically
Yeah.
a county initiative.
Correct. Everything else is a county initiative.
In are any of these, I mean, they're 100% grant funded initiatives, is that, or are they mandated initiatives, what's?
No, none of that is mandated work, but it's opportunities that we've taken advantage of to advance priorities for the county, for clean energy, for doing the countywide planning that we're doing for strategic planning, and the Brownfield Opportunities Grant for the household hazardous waste collection. We stepped up to the plate to try to apply for that $1 million for the city for the housing project. And again, the FLOPA money does a whole host of things. You'll see in detail on the slide later, all the things that we pay for out of that budget countywide. Okay, so again, apologies that this is tiny. I'm not going to read it all. I'm going to hit the highlights, but I wanted to give you the information to read later at your leisure about all of our accounts. I did take very seriously and to heart the direction given by our budget director and our chair to look deeply into our budget and cut where we could this year. The big thing that you'll notice with our revenue accounts is a lot of these accounts are tied to grants. So as we work through grant projects that hit multiple years, the expenses and the revenues both decrease, from one year to the next based on what is left in that grant to work on and to bring in as revenue. So our revenue is down, projected 18% from this particular major category for 26. One thing that I will note is I do have an account 42119, which is planning grants. That account has historically been used, it's $20,000, historically been used when we were a subcontractor to one of our municipalities for a grant that they had. Both Moravia's, for example, when we wrote their comprehensive plans, that's where that revenue went. We haven't had any of those contracts for a few years now, and we don't have any coming up because again, we're focusing on countywide initiatives over the next couple of years. So that account was zeroed out for next year. Okay, the last few revenue lines that I have, water quality management. This is the same for the LWRP. Again, DOS is still moving a little bit slow. And then the FLOPA grant is the same as it was this year. Our award amount will be the same. So overall, revenue is down 14.3% from 25, which is not great. But again, that's mostly attributed to us working through those grants. Expense accounts, the first one that comes up, and these are all in order as you would get them in the Munis report from Lynn, is our big one. This is personal services and fringe, salaries for staff. There is an increase in salaries for all the union staff, not for me, which is fine. There's step increases, sorry, correction, there's not a percentage increase, there are step increases that CSEA staff are set to receive next year, even though the contract is ending. And there are increases in health insurance costs as it is for everyone. I do have a note here that one of my planners during open enrollment this month is coming off county health insurance and going back on their parents' health insurance. I don't know what impact that will be, but it will reduce that number some. So my assumption is when that has finished processing, payroll will let Lynn know and she'll be able to adjust that number. So there is a 5% increase in professional services and fringe due to those step increases for union staff and health insurance and fringe. And the big one in there is the retiree health insurance. All right, so contractual is my next biggest major category. There's a lot of things in here. I have cut as many discretional lines as I possibly could, zeroing out professional services and minor equipment lines. Major reductions again are in those grants that are in progress, so their expenses are going down because we spent that money this year, so there's less to spend next year. This is reflected in a 23% decrease overall in this category for 2026 by about $188,000. Again, that's for mostly from our grants going down. Additional expense accounts, Ag and Protection Board. This is specifically for the work we do for them. I reduced that by about 54%, down to just what we really barely need to do that next year. You'll see the budget is under Regional Planning Board here. This is for the county's membership dues, annual dues for the Central New York Regional Planning and Development Board. That money lives in my budget. I was able to confirm with their staff that our annual dues will not change for 26. So there's no change in that budget line from 25. And then water quality management expenses, there is a net increase there of 1.8%, but those are due to contractual costs increasing for 26. For the county's membership dues for the Cayuga Lake Watershed Intermunicipal Organization, and an increase in contractual fees for our water quality and hazards monitoring and the county's Fulcrum membership dues. Okay. And I apologize, there's a typo on top of the screen. That is not revenue account. That is an expense account for FLOPA, I'm sorry. The FLOPA expense account is equal to the revenue account, and it is flat from 25 to 26. This is a summary slide for you, showing you overall revenue and expense decreases and the overall impact on the budget, which is a 5.8% increase from 25 to 26, 56 of the $934.69 total. 50,213 of that, again, is from increases in personal services, fringe, and health insurance for the most staff. Almost done, promise. Okay. So I did a version of this presentation minus the budget numbers earlier this year for our Central New York Regional Planning Development Board, and I thought some of the information on this slide might be relevant and interesting to share with you. None of the challenges that are facing us are unique to our planning department. County planning departments in other counties are facing the same challenges to continue to provide excellent services while reducing expenses and somehow increasing our revenues. One big positive, though, that I want to highlight is actually the turnover in our staff. I hired 4 new staff since I became director last March. And in 24, and again last year, there were significant savings in my budget with regards to salaries when I actively chose to hire entry-level positions when staff and higher titles left. So I'm fortunate to have found 4 highly qualified and motivated professional staff, 3 planners, and a senior GIS analyst. They're all excited to come to work every day and work hard for this county. I'm so very proud of the work that they do, the workload that they're able to maintain, and just how far all of them have come in such a short time. Overall, I have an amazing group of professional employees. I'm very excited to have them, and they have all stepped up and helped me and their coworkers anytime it's been needed. And I'm looking forward to continuing to mold my staff into amazing public servants. I had to throw in a cow, sorry. I just want to leave it by saying I do truly hope that you are proud of the regional and statewide recognition that our office and our staff continue to receive for the quality and quantity of work that we provide across many disciplines. With that, I'll take any questions.
Gary, I've always been impressed with the work your staff does and, getting all of it.
It's very much.
Very thorough, thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Prior to adjournment, any comments, conversations? Yes. Oh, sorry, Vice President Wright, yeah, sorry.
Basic question, I want to make sure I'm on track with the calendar. Tonight was the last, okay. 23rd, okay.
I'm meeting with the Democratic caucus tomorrow to discuss leadership moving forward, with the Republican caucus and one getting fired. Well, we have a conversation. Anything else?
So
Yes.
from these presentations, we're sort of, as we get ready for the budget that we'll review, we're looking at mission accomplishments, basic budget issues. This is a kind of education that we can
That was my hope, right?
look at.
Last year was my first year on the left.
Mhm.
I remember, November 13th or 14th, whatever. Getting that book dropped on the table and opening it up and just seeing control numbers and not understanding what it's all about. Part of these meetings was to give us, I've seen budget meetings now for over a month and a half. And a lot of the information here is some of it's, also going through not all of it, if we hear the highlights, as we stuck the budgetary issues. But I felt it was important with this body and the transparency that we do, and the fact that our city application and council made, what their original request was, what their current budget is, and understand, have an understanding what those numbers mean, as material here to go with it as well. To allow this board to make an educated decision moving forward about changes to the tentative budget. So that was one of the purposes. Anybody else? Thank you.
You will.
All right.
I'll move to adjourn.
I guess.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
One.